Yeah.
We'll be starting in 3 minutes.
My kids did stay with them too because they said they didn't talk about their things. They were most little stuff, but I always found it. You hit it one way or the other. Yeah. Oh yeah. That more times that's the best part. You go to them and you meet different, just like when we go to the Treasures Institute. You know, you go back every year looking for your friends.
Yeah, who either one
Yeah.
is?
Put your shirt on, huh?
Do you know either one of them?
You know neither one of them. The young guy neither.
Yeah, what they do. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know either one of those gentlemen in the back there with the gray shirt on, t-shirt. Young guy.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Starting in 1 minute. Sherry is excused today. Clerk?
I think I saw that somewhere.
I almost didn't make it myself.
Oh yeah.
How do
Yeah.
I get? I've been trying to figure out how do I get laptop to do that on here.
Was it?
Right here?
You transfer it to PDF Expert.
Oh yeah, the transfer.
Oh my gosh.
Brittany. Wait, Brittany. Who finished?
Free. I got one.
Okay, ready? Meeting is called to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome. We are being broadcast live over at Van Buren Channel 12 and on YouTube. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Yes, that's what we'll do it next time. Yes. Trustee Kelly.
Here.
Trustee Boyden. Here. Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Frazier is excused. Clerk Wright is present. Treasurer Bud.
Here.
Supervisor McNair.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Clerk. I'll begin by doing an executive summary. We have not a long meeting tonight. We have a consent agenda, which consists of the board meeting minutes, our prepaid lists, and our voucher lists. Voucher lists, we're basically paying our electric bills and light bills and gas. We do have an approval to changes to the Board of Zoning Appeal rules and procedures, basically just changing some short language. There will be a presentation today for the proclamation celebrating the 54th anniversary of Earth Day. We're also going to be having a short presentation with Clerk Wright and Trustee Martin, honoring them as veterans. New business today will include discussion on an agreement with Detroit Metro to receive 911 calls on behalf of the Wayne County Airport Authority in the event of an emergency. We'll also have discussion on the selection of Davenport Brothers for the construction of sections J and K of our Iron Bell Trail. And we'll have discussion on an agreement with Wayne County's Land Bank to accept a grant for an environmental assessment and demolition on Denton Road, in the Denton Road subdivision. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Chair, I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
Treasurer Bud. I have a motion by Trustee Kelly. It's supported by Treasurer Bud. Hearing no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Next item is the adoption of the consent agenda. Can I get a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Boynton.
Do we accept the
Gotta read.
consent agenda consisting of the following. Board meeting minutes, of March 19th, prepaid list of March 21st and 28th, and the voucher list of April 2nd, all of 2024, and to approve changes to the Board of Zoning Appeals rules and procedures, including changes to membership, administrative duties, meetings, and powers of the BZA.
Support.
Supported by Clerk Wright. All right, I have a motion, I have support. Do I hear any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of this? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We're now into the hearing. We have no public hearings scheduled today, so we're to correspondence, announcements, and presentations. I'll begin by, first of all, thanking the Van Buren Township Downtown Development Authority for a $110,000 grant or whatever payment to the Van Buren Township Police for their 9/11 Viper. This was a surprise bill, and surprises don't go over very well when they're $110,000, but it's necessary to maintain the 9/11 system. We believe it's going to have a 6 to 10 year lifespan, and we're very thankful for the DDA for lending us, or paying for that. Next thing is, we had, of course, Veterans Day just happened, and happily, we have two veterans on our group. We have Clerk Wright and we have Trustee Martin. And every year they go out and they tirelessly put in a couple hours at each one of these ceremonies to make sure that Van Buren Township is well represented. I feel funny going to them sometimes because I'm just not worthy of it, but you guys did serve, and I wanted to make sure that you guys got some ribbons. And so from Leroy Page, on behalf of their participation in the Vietnam Veterans Commemorative Ceremony, this year with you and last year with you, they've given you each one of these nice ribbons that veterans are allowed to wear.
Thank you.
In addition, Leanne, you lost your brother who served in Vietnam. That is a pin to be worn by families of members that served in Vietnam. And this is also a pin. These are from the same group. Thank you very much for your service.
Thanks.
You guys want to say anything?
Well, I did attend the Vietnam, it was the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam veterans. Ceremony that was held at Belbert High School last Thursday, I believe it was. It was about 2 hours long. It was a very nice presentation. It was put on in collaboration with the high school and ROTC program. I always say that, you know, we all know what happened with the Vietnam vets. They didn't get the recognition that they deserve, and it's still really not getting the recognition. The place should have had quite a few more people there than they did. But the veterans that was there were really appreciative. They came up and they really, they said how appreciative they were, and they acknowledged Leroy Page for putting on a very nice event, which it was. My oldest brother was a Vietnam vet, and you know, I lost him in 2012. I think it has a lot to do with the things that they endured, Agent Orange and all that kind of stuff, but I lost him to small cell lung cancer. And so I try to go to these events because they're kind of hard with me, especially with him, because I think about him every day. And you know, he was a big brother, but also a dear friend. So I went, but I didn't speak because every time I think about it, I kind of get a little teary. But so I couldn't really speak, and I don't like to speak on it because I still, you know, brings back memories. But commemoration for him. I appreciate this, and I thank you for getting it for me.
I'm very proud of you. Kevin, did you want to say anything?
I would like to say in honor of Leon's brother who served this country And on behalf of all veterans, I am a proud veteran of the United States Navy. It was my honor and privilege to serve in that capacity. I think that veterans are underrepresented and underappreciated. I think that we need to do more for our veterans, and these kind of services just brings awareness to the plight of veterans, and I think that we need to do more. That's all. We need to do more for our veterans.
Thank you. We're, from one stream, we're going over now to our last proclamation for today. And is that the proclamation?
Yes.
Okay, because it's made the rounds. It was, a few people were going to do it. So I'm going to give this over to Kevin Martin to read the proclamation for celebrating the 54th anniversary of Earth Day.
Proclamation celebrating the 54th anniversary of Earth Day. Whereas April 22nd, 2024 will mark the 54th anniversary of the first celebration of Earth Day, organized as an effort to raise national awareness and to protect the environment. And whereas presently, Earth Day has grown to be one of the largest observances in the world, with more than 1 billion people and 193 countries participating to celebrate the planet and to focus attention on shared threats to sustainability. And whereas local communities promote the importance of safeguarding our natural resources, air, water, soil, as well as ecosystems and biodiversity. And whereas Van Buren Township is privileged to be home to more than 30,000 people who live in suburban and rural areas. Whereas changing weather patterns, more extreme and frequent weather events such as intensifying heat in the summer, unpredictable flooding, drought, and storms year-round are being observed and experienced increasingly at the local level. And whereas local governments are finding themselves at the front line as mounting environmental challenges require villages, cities, and townships to take a leading role in adapting to and mitigating against extreme climate events. And whereas the citizens and leaders of Van Buren Township have collectively worked to protect its natural resources and preserve healthy air, water, soil, ecosystems, and biodiversity for their children and future generations. And whereas we are all caretakers of our planet, and we have an obligation to combat environmental degradation as well as we work together to preserve Earth's beauty and its vital resources locally. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees do designate April 22nd, 2024 as Earth Day in Van Buren Township and encourage all residents, families, businesses, schools, and organizations to celebrate the Earth, to learn more and understand our unique roles in helping to combat the growing degradation of our environment, and to consider how each of us can make a positive impact on the environment on Earth Day and every day. We all have a vital part to play in maintaining health and quality of life in our homes, places of work, and this township as we commit to caring for the planet and its irreplaceable resources. Signed, Supervisor Kevin McNamara, Township Clerk Leon Wright.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have to vote on that or anything. This is a proclamation. All right. I'm going to move over to Treasurer Budge. She has an announcement.
Right. This is about my deputy, Sean Bellingham. On behalf of the Association of Public Treasurers of the United States and Canada, they are pleased to award his recertification of the professional credentials of Certified Public Finance Administrator, or a CPFA. He has worked the last 5 years to keep up his points. This certification will expire on June 1st, 2029. I am proud of him and the work that he does to support my office. So congratulations, Sean.
I am proud as the supervisor's office for the work Sean Bellingham does to support our office, because I call him every day. Yeah.
Sometimes I have to go looking for him.
Yeah, I do. Where is he? Thank you for letting me use him, because I need him. So let's see, what else do we have? Does anybody else have any announcements? I have one off-the-wall announcement. They're going through the audits right now, and I just got the most bizarre news that I've never seen before. We have no lawsuits against us. So I don't know that I've ever seen that in government. I know we have body cams now, we have car cams, we have training monthly, we have training quarterly. We have so many things that we do here to make sure, try and make sure that we do the right thing out there that I guess maybe it's paying off. This is a wonderful thing, so, yeah.
Well, kudos to that. I can say they are paying off. Kudos to the directors that do the work, that adhering to the governance that we're preaching. It shows. That's why we don't have any lawsuits. But we may have a small one coming. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I was told that we may have a water sewer claim coming.
A water
Lawsuit.
sewer claim?
Lawsuit.
Okay.
So it hasn't been filed yet, but
I'm taking this as a home run.
we don't have any lawsuits,
Yeah.
and
Audit's done, there was there's none in the books right now.
that's very rare.
All right, public comment. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to make comment at this, a meeting on anything that we're about to talk about? Anybody from the public that wishes to make comment? Online? Nope, okay. Moving on to unfinished business, which we have none, we're into new business. We're gonna begin with a discussion to consider approval of an agreement between Detroit Metro and Willow Run Airport and Van Buren Township.
Through the chair,
Thank you, Clerk Wright.
I'd like to make the motion to consider approval of an agreement between Detroit Metro and Willow Run Airport with Van Buren Township Public Safety Anderson Point Dispatch to receive 911 calls on behalf of the Wayne County Airport Authority as a temporary remedy in the event of an emergency.
Support.
Thank you, Mr. Poynton. All right, Police Chief Wright.
Good evening, Board. This agreement that I've brought to you for approval strictly memorializes exactly how we are operating right now. With the airport, the uniqueness about the airport opposed to other dispatch centers is that, they fall under federal guidelines, and they have a lot of moving parts there that are things that we don't necessarily deal with here in the municipalities. So they are required to do these things, and they caught that they didn't have it. So they came to us and said, we'd like to enter into this agreement. And I had Angela look it over and make sure that everything was in line with, liabilities and whatnot in our operations. And I can assure you that what we are doing is exactly this. So what happens is, if the 911 goes down at the airport, it triggers over to here where they're back up. And, we're a temporary answering point, and we can function their dispatch. And we can do the same. If ours goes down, we can go over there, but typically we use Canton as our backup. Conference of Western Wayne has all the backups set up, and we typically go over there. And our dispatchers can plug into their equipment and operate just like they can do here, and we can do that at the airport, and the airport can come to our place and plug in, and everything is the same. So this is just memorializing our current activities when an emergency happens like that.
Airport got audited, they found that they needed an agreement that they didn't have, they called us up, do you mind if we memorialize this? That's all we're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they were audited, but probably, that's probably what
yeah.
happened.
They get a lot of certifications. All right, so I have a motion by Clerk Wright, and I have a support by Trustee Boynton. Hearing no further questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next item is discussion on to consider approval of the selection of Davenport Brothers to do the Iron Belt Trail. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
Yes.
we approve the selection of Davenport Brothers for the construction of Iron Belt Trail Sections J and K for $694,875, in addition to a 10% contingency for a total of $764,362.50.
Support.
Okay, Mr. Kelly? Trustee Kelly? Director Renault?
Good evening, Board. As we continue our effort to close the gap on Iron Bell Trail, the first section of trail we're going to build in 2024 will be the combined section of J and K. This runs from the railroad crossings at Huron River Drive to the Lower Huron Metro Park. There's approximately 25,600 square feet of concrete sidewalk, 7-foot wide, and 110 linear feet of 10-foot asphalt pathway. Bids Bids were received and publicly opened on March 12th, 2024. The township received 5 bids, with Davenport Brothers Construction being the apparent low bid at $694,875. Reference checks were completed on Davenport Brothers. We feel confident that they will do a great job. We've worked alongside them on many projects in the township, including one Iron Bell Trail project. Davenport's experience with railroad right-of-ways also will help as it adds a layer of complexity to the project. If approved, the project work will start immediately, contingent on appropriate weather conditions. So tonight we're asking the board to consider approval of the selection of Davenport Brothers for the construction of Iron Bell Trail Section J and K for $694,875. In addition to a 10% project contingency for a total of $764,362.50. This will be paid out of Parks Environmental Grant Fund 101-755-967. If the contingency is unused, funds would obviously be unencumbered and released back into our budget. This project was a budgeted expense for 2024 and will be fully funded by grant dollars from the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation. I would be happy to answer any questions at this time. Mark Davenport from Davenport Brothers Construction is also here to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No, through the chair.
Yes.
I don't have a question, but I just have a quick comment, and thank you, Ralph C. Wilson Foundation, for continuing to grant us money for this endeavor.
They're pretty great.
Wonderful, yeah. We're going to ask for more. They are wonderful, yeah. Okay, so the sidewalk on Huron River Drive by Riggs Park is what, 4 feet? 4 feet, right?
5 feet.
5 feet? So this is going to be 7-foot sidewalk and 10-foot. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, majority, like 98% of it is 7-foot concrete sidewalk.
Okay.
And then there's a little piece of 10-foot asphalt pathway that connects into the actual Metro Park.
Okay, good, because that was a little too skinny for my taste.
There are existing pieces of sidewalk along developed properties that might not be 7 foot, but what we're pouring is 7 foot.
I don't understand that.
Some existing sidewalk already there.
Okay, you're connected, okay, yeah.
Responsible for that existing sidewalk.
Any questions? Okay, I've got a motion by trustee Boynton, supported by trustee Kelly. Hearing no further questions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, next item is to consider approval of an agreement between Van Buren Township and the Wayne County Land Bank. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
Kelly?
I move to consider approval of an agreement between Van Buren Township and Wayne County Land Bank to accept a grant for environmental assessment and demolition at 6530 Denton Road.
Support.
I'm gonna give that one to Bud, because she hasn't got one yet. All right. Director Powers.
Thank you, Board. The township is an owner of a property at 6530 Denton Road. It's in the Denton Village subdivision. On this property, there are a number of above-ground storage tanks, as well as other. And in November of 2023, the township, with Director Akers taking the lead, submitted a grant request to the Wayne County Land Bank for environmental assessment and demolition of blighted structures on this property, with funds in a grant program that was made possible in a partnership between the Michigan Land Bank Authority and the County Land Bank Corporation. And so we're taking an opportunity to apply for this grant. We took the opportunity to apply for the grant. The township was awarded the grant in January of 2024 in the amount of $200,000. And to move forward on accepting the grant, the township will need to enter into an agreement with the Wayne County Land Bank, which is before you this evening. The overall scope of the project will include performing an environmental assessment of the site, removing the storage tanks and the associated equipment and structures, removing vegetation, and replacing the fencing. There are photos of the property. There's an aerial as well as many photos of some of the tanks that we have yet to figure out exactly what those were in your packet tonight. But we're excited to get moving on it with this agreement in place, which we will ask that you allow us to execute and then move forward to the Wayne County Land Bank. In terms of overall timeline, the township will solicit a company to complete a phase 1 and as necessary, a phase 2 site assessment to determine if there are any environmental conditions that need to be addressed. After obtaining that information, we'll solicit bids to clean up the contaminated materials if present and clear the site. The expected timeline to complete the work is 12 to 18 months, with roughly 1 to 6 months for environmental site assessment, 1 to 3 months for removal, and then possible remediation after that. So I'm happy to answer any questions about this. Otherwise, I look forward to this project getting started.
Any questions? So we believe this site closed in the 50s, right? Okay.
Sometime around there.
So then it got handed over due to taxes to Wayne County, and then Wayne County put it up for auction, and every year, every 4 or 5 years, it would come back up for auction because nobody would pay the taxes, and then somebody would see it on a computer and they'd buy this piece of property and then discover it had a tank farm on it, and then 5 years later, it'd be back up for auction. We kind of got it that way, and we were kind of shocked to find out that there was a tank farm on it because since the 1950s, it's grown so much vegetation through and around the tanks that you can't see them. Happily, though, we know how to find money, and we got $200,000, so we're going to be able to take this environmental disaster that was left on these people from the 50s, and we're going to be able to make it nice and green and everything. We almost want to make it a park, but it's on a railroad line. It's right next to a railroad line, so that's probably not possible. But we are going to be discussing probably with the board, well, we are going to, possibly doing something up in the Denton Road area as far as a park or some kind of a place for them. They're kind of a little bit isolated. It's a great subdivision, a great community, and it's a great community because there's great neighbors there and generations of them that move out and come back and live there and have kept that area stable. But we need to get rid of the blight, and we need to give them a nice park, and so that they can continue to be a great neighborhood, because they're kind of fighting it off on their own out there in the middle of nowhere. So that's a lot of stuff for a tank farm. Any other questions?
Through the chair. I didn't know it's been since the 50s that those tanks have been out there. And listening to the supervisor, I just want to cover the point that when you do go over, whomever goes over, make sure that they have all of the safety gear and equipment so that if something pops up that's pretty nefarious, that they're protected. That's all.
Yes,
That's all.
absolutely.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, I've got a motion by trustee Kelly, supported by treasurer Bud. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Board.
Reports, we have no reports. Next item is public comment on non-agenda items. Is anybody from the public that wishes to speak on any non-agenda items? Okay.
We have one.
Hello.
Hello, Board. My name is Sheila Charlton. I do live here in the community, and I wanted to come tonight on behalf of Dr. Jasmine Stevens and Image Counseling Services. We are embarking on an initiative on May 24th as we bring awareness to mental health. And we are having an event at the Ford Performing Arts in Dearborn, and we are looking for all communities to help us again as we bring awareness to mental health. We do understand mental health is a crisis all over this country, and so we're putting this event together. We're asking Van Buren Township and just other communities to give us resources, maybe partnership with us, donations, whatever we can give to get this word out and to share this information about mental health awareness. So it's a Wellness Day, May 24th, and it is at the Performing Arts Center in Dearborn, Michigan. It's open to everyone, and again, we are looking for partnerships at this point to help us get this word out.
Have you talked to DWIN, Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network?
No, I have not.
Okay. They have $1 billion that they spend in Wayne County on mental health.
Okay.
I know because I'm the vice chair of the board.
Okay.
They'd be the ones that call. They can fund this whole thing and get the word out.
Okay, and what is the name again? I'm sorry.
Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, DWIN.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Right. Anybody else wish to speak? No? Okay. Anybody from the board want to make comment? Okay. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Okay, got a movement for Boynton and support, Bud? All right, I got a motion, trustee Boynton, supported by treasurer Bud. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.